Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to this energy update for July 2024. This is a pivotal time in human ascension. But what I'm going to be sharing here is going to include just a brief overview of where we are in the yearly cycle and why that's significant. I'm going to share an Akashic message from my Akashic guides about the energies of July 2024, as well as a message from Jaguar Spirit. And then I'm also going to share just some observations that I've had and sort of intuitive um, downloads about how we can really utilize these energies to best effect. Also, I'll be pulling an oracle card just to support us through this month. All right, so July 2024, it's this middle period, right? We just came through a very, very intense spring. We had that huge solar eclipse back in April. So if you haven't watched my solstice video, I'm going to link that up here. And we've just come past the solstice. So we're tipping into the darker part of the year and but we're also moving towards the Lion's Gate in early August, right? So it's period of the year where we're in this beautiful period of high light. And I always think of July as this time where we're really soaking in the light, but we're also preparing for what's to come and maybe some challenges of the year to come. In the Galactic Calendar, which is based on the Mayan calendar, the year actually ends and starts in July. Okay, so July 25th is going to be the what's known as the day out of time. And then we start a new year on July 26th. And I think that actually is pretty appropriate because to start the year at the high point of light and then move through this journey into darkness and back up into light, it really mirrors the ascension journey in a lot of ways. And in this particular year, it just feels like 2024 is a very, very pivotal year. I know every year has been very intense lately, but to me, it feels like this 2024 is the midpoint of this whole transition cycle that we've been moving through. And this past solstice that we just came through, to me, felt like the absolute tipping point. And so the energies may start to feel very, very different going forwards. Now, the feeling I'm getting is that this July will be this kind of still point, right, before those energies of, whatever's coming to us next is going to start to accelerate. So a time where we can really kind of take stock, and I'll be talking a little bit more about that later. All right, but first I want to share the message that my Akashic guides gave me to share when I asked about the energies of July 2024. And here is the energy update message from the Akash. Strength. You are stronger than you know. Your will is being activated. Strength is not an isolated quality. It is directional. It is relational. You cannot be strong in a vacuum. Strength requires resistance, and resistance builds strength. Do not fear what is to come. Embrace it as the necessary exercise you need to unlock yet greater strengths within yourself and your communities. Draw strength from the sun. The sun is a storehouse of strength for you. It is where all your power ultimately comes from. Feel the rays of light shining onto you from the sun, strengthening you, revitalizing you. Allow these rays to enter through your palms, through your crown, through your heart, to fill your body, mind, and soul with unstoppable power. Feel it filling you, radiating outward with warmth and light. This is the power and the strength of love. It is not what some of you have been led to think. Feel it. This is the inexorable force of life, expanding and expressing itself through you. Okay, so really powerful time. Sun is a representation and a cosmic embodiment of that light that is within each of us, right? And the sun also symbolizes the self, right? So what they're really saying is really at this time, hold yourself to the light and really invite that light to enter you, because this is a very, very powerful time that we can receive that light and really embody it, bring it into our bodies so that we become radiant beings, radiant bodies, okay? And spiritual beings that are able to really radiate light in the darkness. Okay, so the insights that I'm getting around where we are right now on the planet is that, and I talked about this in my solstice video, but I want to talk about it again because it feels really important. And that is that we're at this choice point right now, okay? And that this is a point right now where that bifurcation, where the 3D energies and the 5D energies are really starting to split in a really big way. And people are having to choose one or the other, right? Those choices that are being made today, right now, at this time, it's really going to make a difference in how this goes about, okay? So if the majority of the mental energy of humanity chooses a lower path, chooses to stay in the lower vibrations, then the earth is going to start to decline very physically over the next few hundred years. Okay. And however, if the collective mind power of humanity chooses the higher vibrations, then how that's going to work out is that Earth is going to start in a healing cycle, okay? And the physical Earth is going to really move through more healing. Now, Earth will eventually, die physically, but if we collectively really set our minds towards a healed Earth, it's really going to make a big difference if we choose the healing path. It'll be much more beautiful and gentle and healing type of process, right? For everybody involved, even the ones that choose to stay in the lower dimensions, right? So this is a really critical time point. But I do want to say that um, by the collective mind power of humanity, it it doesn't mean that it has to be the majority of people, okay? Because those who have a higher vibration um, and those who are more focused and very clear on the vision, that's going to carry a lot of weight, right? The higher vibrations carry more weight, okay, than the lower, but also the more focused the vision is, the greater weight that carries as well, right? So that's why it's really, really important right now for us all to start really visualizing what it is that we're building. We're building new earth. We're here for that, right? And if we can start really having a very, very clear vision, each of us as an individual, of what we feel that looks like or what that vibration feels like, and then that's going to add up to a very, very powerful collective force drawing us upwards into those higher vibrations. Okay. Um, so with that said, there's a lot of healing to be done. And what I'm seeing really, really strongly right now and moving into July 2024 is that the best thing that we can be doing right now is really self assessing, right? And really looking at ourselves and coming into a state of very, very honest assessment because we're all going to be called into our power to one degree or another in the coming months and years. Okay. And we're all here for a purpose. And most of us who, if you're watching this video, you can feel that, even if you're not clear on your purpose. But what I see, especially with a lot of light workers, right, is this sense of they feel the call to purpose really strongly. And there's this soul desire so strong to go towards that, that there's this kind of rushing pell-mell into I've got to be living my purpose. I got to be living my purpose. And sometimes people don't even know what that purpose is, or sometimes they do know, but the rest of their life is a complete and total mess, right? And so what I'm being shown really strongly is that everything is spiritual, right? And that every aspect of your life is spiritual, and every aspect of your life contributes to your living your purpose. But if you're trying to jump into those high vibrational kind of really purpose driven energies, and there's a lot that hasn't been sorted out at the more mundane level, it often leads to a lot of frustration. And I've seen myself included, so many light workers and star seeds and so forth, spiritually, awakening people who feel this drive towards purpose, and they keep pushing that spiritual button. Okay, like there's a spiritual solution for everything. Well, there is, but if all you're focusing on is your spirituality, you're ignoring the fact that everything else is spiritual too, right? And it's really easy to let everything else kind of go and not feel like it's all that important. But what my guides keep telling me is, okay, your financial health is important, your physical health, your living space that you're in, all these things, and that it's time right now to really look honestly. And if you feel like you've been on this hamster wheel of, I just really want to live my purpose and it's just not getting there, then maybe start looking at yourself through another lens. Um, and looking at oneself, yes, with compassion, but also through the lens of radical personal responsibility. Okay. And basically just owning it, right? If your home is a mess, take a look and just like no excuses. Okay, my home's a mess. And who's responsible for that? I am, right? And I don't even want to show you a picture of my garage because we've been using it as a catch-all for several years, and it's just gotten to the point where it's like you can't even walk through it. And this is what my guides are telling me is like, you're not going to be much good to anybody until you clean up this physical surrounding. It's time to really look very closely at what's going on with us at all levels. And if needed, to go back and clean things up. And by looking with a critical eye, right? Not in the sense of beating ourselves up, but more like a coach, right? Who can look and stand as an observer and say, hey, that's a mess. And okay, let's help you through it, right? And that's what we need to do with ourselves, right? Because I think we can fall into this toxic compassion trap of, oh, I just accept myself the way I am, and I'm a creative person, so it's hard for me to, so I tend to have all these projects and like making excuses for a messy home, making excuses for a body that's not, in good shape. It doesn't mean you have to be looking like Sylvester Stallone or some fashion model, right? But it does mean like, am I really taking care of my body in the way that I need to in order to make it the temple of spirit that is going to help me to move forward really on my highest timeline. Okay. So really coming to grips with this, getting super honest, and it's not always easy, right? We want to make excuses and we want to think that we're doing a good job. But sometimes, like, let's be honest, sometimes we're not. And we need to assess where that is actually creating a barrier so that it keeping us down at a lower level, right? And where that is happening, we need to have the courage to look at it, to really face the truth of, okay, my home is a mess, or I'm 50 pounds overweight and I am out of breath going upstairs, and this physical body is, the vibrations of it are not conducive to what I want to do or who I want to be in life. All right. And then taking responsibility for that. Because if you're here trying to do this work at this level, and your body's at this level, and your house is at that level, right, and your bank account is maybe at this level, then you're trying to work on this level creates a lot of tension. Okay. So what I'm being shown is if we can go down and start fixing these things, stop putting pressure to ourselves to perform up here, go back down here, work through some of these things. It doesn't mean you have to abandon what you're doing up here, but also work on those. And that way, we're going to be coming to a point of being able to really step into our full power here in the weeks and months and years ahead where we're really going to be needed. Okay. So I'm going to wrap this up with a message from Jaguar Spirit because I think this really, Jaguar really offers a solution for healing for some of us. Okay. Especially ancestral patterns that we may still be working through and dealing with. Okay, so Jaguar says linear time is a flow that you can ride, a stream that flows in one direction only, but you can swim against the stream should you so desire. You can go back in time. You can revisit ancient holdings. You can create ceremony there and shift the course of time. You will not change events prior to this moment, but you will create in this moment sacred geometries in the fabric of time that can alter the trajectory of time from this point forward. Heed my words. You are more powerful than you know. Your power is not to be wasted. take care. So basically, it's time to stop wasting time, take a good look at what's not healed within us, and just go in and take care of that at a vibrational level through ceremony if need be, right? Um, get out of the head and stop thinking about it, right? The more that we fixate on our anxiety or, I'm not getting clients or whatever it is, that only makes it worse, right? So we look and see where the vibration is off and we target that and then we move forward. All right, so I'm going to pull a card from my Spirit Animal Awareness deck to support us for the month of July. And while I shuffle, I would like to invite you to the Lightworkers Cafe, which is my free members community for heart-centered spiritual seekers. And we meet twice a month. This month of July, we are going to have a cosmic healing circle on July 7th, and then a lunar light guided meditation on the full moon on July 21st. So I'll put the information about joining below. It is free, the events are free. So I encourage you to check that out. And the card to support us is Owl. And I think that fits really well with this idea of looking within and really opening our eyes to what's been in the shadows, right? So that we can hunt out any of those energies that are holding us back physically, holding us back financially, making a mess of our homes, any kind of messes that are lurking in the shadows. Owl brings the night vision to be able, the courage also to be able to look and see what's still in the shadows, bring it up to light, right? So that we can heal it before we go into this collective big night of the year coming forward, all right? So if you have found this video helpful, I really encourage you to share. Again, I would love to see you at a Lightworkers Cafe event coming up soon. And remember, you were born to be free.